But it's been confirmed by James Gunn, the aforementioned, that there will be no more returns for the likes of Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Jason Momoa after Aquaman 2 comes out, Ezra Miller, Gal Gadot. They're done. Their tenure as these DC characters, short for some, long for others, is over. No more. Will never happen again. We will not see them back in those characters, sort of capes, suits. And I'm going to get into that in a moment because that's important to emphasise. They'll not be back as the characters they have been playing, because Jason Momoa has been rumoured to be coming on board to play another character, a more morally ambiguous character that could fit him, I think, better than maybe even Aquaman. So exciting times in that regard. But yeah, I'll bring it up. No Zack Snyder characters are going to be returning. I'm going to endeavour to bring it up because this fucking mouse is doing my head in. And as you can see here, a new report has claimed that none of the stars who played the DCEU's Justice League will reprise their roles in the DCEU. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Ray Fisher was never coming back, let's be honest. He rocked the boat way too much. You could argue if he's been racially abused and bullied and whatnot behind the scenes, then he's right to rock the boat 100%. But needless to say, you can't be rubbing up people that much and expecting to stick around in future iterations of DC stories. It's just not going to happen. Gal Gadot has been openly pushing. There's a word I was looking for there, and it's a word that is synonymous with Oscar award season time, where they are, I don't know, they're sort of pushing. Pushing's the best I can come up with just now. Campaigning. She's actively campaigning to come back as Gal Gadot, finish her trilogy, but it's not going to happen, according to this report. And as you can see, where is it coming from? Variety. Now a new report from Variety which delves into the mucky water surrounding the production of the Aquaman sequel and the sorry legacy that the DCEU is leaving behind, has claimed that the trio of stars may be back as part of James Gunn's future plans, but will not be reprising their old Snyderverse roles. Well, it has been rumoured previously that Momoa has been in talks to play Lobos in the DCU. That's what I was going to speak about. Just perfect for Jason, sorry. Visually, it looks like him. He's got long curly hair. He's got his tattoos, buff as fuck. Get that energy, that rawness, that little bit of aggression, that character. And I feel like that is something that is perfectly tailor-made, suited for Jason Momoa, a guy who I really do like. I'm going to be speaking about him in a moment, and fucking love it. Really do. This story that's coming about, floating around about Jason Momoa, I hope it's true. It's alleged, I think for legal reasons, but I sincerely hope it's true. I'm going to speak about that in a moment, but it's not the moment just now. I'm well up for seeing him coming back as a different character in a DC movie. He's an infectious character, deeply charismatic, brilliant, cool guy, and I want to see more of him in DC movies moving forward, certainly under James Gunn, who can utilise that personality and bring it to the fore wonderfully. We've seen him do it with the likes of fucking David Dismalky and Polka Dot Man. We've seen him do it with a fucking Weasel, his own brother, playing the character. This guy can bring personality out of anything. So imagine what you can do with a personality like Jason Momoa moving forward, albeit not as Aquaman. I digress. This is the PC of Variety. They note none of the stars cast by Zack Snyder for 2016's Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice and 2017's Justice League, including Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller and Jason Momoa. No mention of Zachary Levi either, incidentally. Surely he's not coming back. Will reprise their roles in the new DC universe in character. Again, distinguishing point in that is in character. That's not writing off the potential for them to come back as another character in some form. But I'm glad this is happening. As I say, he's made his own plans. He has to start afresh. We can't keep going back to Snyder's old favourites, to a quite frankly antiquated era of DC storytelling. To just mine off the same fucking characters again and again. They're getting older now. They're past their sell-by date. Gal Gadot's nearly 40 odds. Jason Momoa's in his 40s. Henry Cavill's in his 40s. Ben Affleck's in his fucking 50s. They're too old now, man. There's no longevity in the characters. You're not going to get a decade of storytelling with these people. They will be 50 by the time that comes about. It's too fucking old to be playing these characters. I'm not saying it's old in real life terms, but in terms of playing a superhero, you can't have a 50-year-old playing Superman. You just can't. It's not going to work. He's a young, vivacious guy, character. You could maybe have a 50-year-old playing Batman, and it's a grizzled, more veteran, embittered, wise version of Bruce Wayne, but I don't want to see it. I want to see, again, what they've been doing with Robert Pattinson, with, blank on his name, Matt Reeves. I want to see that, but with James Gunn in an interconnected universe. Young, fucking energetic actor who's got something to prove. I'm not saying Pattinson's got something to prove. The man's had his career. He's not exactly young. He's mid-30s, but he's not old. He's still got longevity. He's got a 10-year period to play that character if need be, and he looks younger. So I'm not averse to this. This is a good thing for me. James Gunn is starting afresh. It's new storytelling. He's rebooting the Superman story. He's rebooting the Batman story. It's only sensible to then reboot the Aquaman story if we need Aquaman. I don't think we do. I think he's that compelling a character, to be honest with you. Jason Momoa made him watchable to an extent. I don't think he's the be-all and end-all by any means. Flash, we need a new era of storytelling with new characters, with new actors, with new stories. So it's absolutely fine for me. And really on that point, I was going to delve kind of down the rabbit hole momentarily into who could play new versions of these characters in James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC universe, which I believe will not be affected by any potential merger between Warner Brothers and Universal, in case someone comes in at this point and wants to know my opinion on that. Not the fucking mood. I'm just a fucking... I've been seeing this going about recently, this term, a scud book from Glasgow. I like that term. I'm just a fucking scud book from Glasgow. It's irrelevant what I think, really, in the grand scheme of things. I'm going to lie back here. I'm going to rock the chair. This is not the full rocking potential of this chair, incidentally. It can go way, way back, almost horizontal. In fact, it can go back to horizontal. I'm just going to sit the leg up here and just read through this potential recasting of Wonder Woman for DCU. Right off the bat, I'm seeing Alexandria, what's her name? Alexandria Daddario, is that what her name is? And I'm liking that because she is one stunning looking girl. She really is. Incredible blue eyes. Quite young. Got the physicality. A big class as well. I think she's quite tall for a woman. All necessary components to play Diana Prince? Gal Gadot, but not Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. She was Wonder Woman. Potentially no longer. Well, definitely no longer Wonder Woman. I'm fancying her as a potential Wonder Woman replacement. I really am. Alexandra Daddario. I'm sure she was in a Logan Lerman movie back in the day. I can't remember the name of it, but she played a kind of superhero figure, I want to say. And I recall her being quite physical, quite a big lass. So I'd be for that. Jamie Alexander, again, strikes me as being quite big. I recall her. She was in Thor. I think she was in Loki as well recently, was she not? Was she in Loki recently? I think she was. Was that the one that kept respawning and kept slapping poor Loki about? Might not be, actually. But she's big. She's got the looks. She's got the brown hair. She could play Gal... I keep wanting to say Gal Gadot. She could play Gal Gadot. She could play Wonder Woman. Adrienne Palicki. Not for me. Anna de Armas. Not for me. Naomi Scott. I liked her in Aladdin. I thought she was decent. She's a little slender though. She's a bit small. So perhaps not for me. We need to get another Aladdin movie. What's going on with that Aladdin sequel? We need to see more of Naomi Scott. She really was very good in Aladdin. Really, really good. Again, certainly got the looks, certainly got the age in her favour. She's 30. She could play for the next decade. Still a young lass. I don't know. Is she big enough? I think to be Wonder Woman you have to be quite sizable. You're not going to be Wonder Woman and be 5'4". I think you have to be at least 5'8" to 5'7" as a woman to play Wonder Woman. Connor Leslie? No. I like Lauren Cohen. I loved her in Dead by Daylight, Walking Dead, fucking Dead by Daylight, obsessed. What am I like, eh? Loved her in that. Again, very good looking woman. She is tall. She's a good actor. She's got charisma. I think she's a little old now though. I'm going to search her up momentarily here and find out just how old she actually is. I think she's not going 40. She's 41 years of age. If you want to tell these stories in a connected universe over a 10-year period, I think 41's pushing it. 51-year-old Wonder Woman. Can't have a Wonder Woman with 10 a lady, I'm sorry. Not that you'll have that at 50. It's ageist. But I digress. Elizabeth Debicki, not for me, I'm sorry. Nope. Jodie Comer, not for me. Really, this is my number one choice. I'm going through the motions here until I get to Alexandra Daddario, if that's how you say her name. I actually don't know how old she is. I want to say she's slightly older than me, but not much in it. So she is quite young. She's 47. Fuck. She's getting a little bit, maybe pushing it with age. Certainly when you start taking into into account production times and how long it's going to take to do the first movie, and then you've got a decade potentially after that. 50 again. They'd have to move quickly with Alexandra if that's to be a sort of potential casting. But she's certainly, as I say, has got the height, got the looks, got the acting ability, got the hair. I could see her playing Wonder Woman. Obviously, David Cornsvet, it seems to be confirmed he is playing Superman. He is the new Superman. I think it has been confirmed. I think they've got the Lois Lane, I think that's how you pronounce her name, and they've got the Kal-El. And it's this guy, and look, I can't argue with it. How can you argue with this guy playing Superman? How tall is this individual? He is 6'4". He's got the hairline, he's got the jawline, he's got the piercing eyes. He's a fine actor by all accounts. I can't argue with him playing Superman at all. How can you? This guy is fucking Superman. Put the cape on him just now. A fine choice, has to be said, if he is indeed playing him. 30 years of age, years and years and years to play the character left in him. I'm all aboard that train. Batman. Who could play Batman? Obviously, it's a tricky one because we have got Robert Pattinson playing Batman just now, and you've got a bit of a clash. Are the general public capable of differentiating between the Matt Reeves Batman and the DCEU Batman? Well, we've had a lot of fucking Batmen in recent years. We've had Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, and of course we've had Robert Pattinson. So it shouldn't be a problem. But then we did have people when Star Wars was a thing. Remember that when Disney took over, when they didn't fucking kill it in cinematic terms and turn it into a glorified TV show franchise. There was a thing when Rogue One came out where people were getting confused. They were asking, where is Kylo Ren? When it was clearly set in a different time period. So you always have to factor in the sheer stupidity of the general audience out there when you're making casting choices and choices for characters. But look, they're doing a Batman movie. It's been confirmed he is going to move forward with a Batman movie. I think it's Batman fucking... I can't remember the name of the movie. What is it? Batman, the Brave and the Bold. And I love the take on it. I love the sort of backdrop of the story, and I remember covering it when they announced this was going to be a thing. I have to say, Michael Fassbender, I mean, Batman's a different breed altogether, as I did kind of clarify. You can't have an older Batman. But I think that's maybe a little too old for Michael. He's 46. Pardon me, incidentally, I burped into the mic there. Deeply unprofessional. I think that's a little bit old. I think we're pushing it a little bit there. 46 years of age. I know it's coming out in a couple of years potentially, but you're looking at fucking mid-50s, man. When his tenure's done. I mean, if it's too old for Bond, it's too old for Batman. And I would say that's too old for Bond. I love Michael though. He's a fantastic actor, brilliant guy. But not for me. Henry Golding, I think, would be a fine choice for Batman. Fine choice. He's a young, vivacious guy. As you can see, they do say, sure, they can play the suave, handsome, rich man. And you've got to have that, as they do say, you've got to have that dark psychological innard to a Batman actor. You've got to produce that darkness within. It's a deeply troubled individual that takes to vigilantism and roaming the streets at night dressed as a fucking bat, taking down the crooks and the gangs and the villains of the city of Gotham, if you like. And you've got to be able to convey that as an actor. You've got to have this schizophrenic element to the character, almost a tree effect of personalities, where you've got the vigilante, you've got the philanthropist, sort of billionaire by day, and you've got the combining of the two of them, which is almost the true Bruce Wayne. He's not truly Bruce, he's not truly Batman, he's something in between. And the best Batman actors, Michael Keaton, I'd say Bale. You know, I don't think we've seen enough of Wayne under Ben Affleck, but those two certainly combined them brilliantly, and we got some special moments. I don't think we've seen enough of Robert Pattinson's Batman to include him in that list yet. There wasn't enough Bruce Wayne in the Batman. It was they called the Batman. It was the fucking Batman. So there wasn't enough Wayne in that. And the little Wayne we got was seen there was promise when he was sitting by Alfred's side. But you need to be able to convey that. I think Henry Golding can do it. Scott Eastwood, again, he's a little short to play Batman. I mean, Michael Keaton was shorter, I think, but he's a lot shorter than his father, that's for sure. But he's, again, really charismatic, cool geezer. I love Clint. And I love Scott as well. He looks like his father. I think he's maybe a little bit old now, though. Again, I think he's in his 40s now, I want to say. Fuck, his dad's in his 90s, so he's got to be up there. So again, you're pushing it a little bit. My God, that guy looks like Alistair Johnson that plays for Celtic in the background. That's scary. He looks almost AI created, doesn't he? The way his mouth and his eyes are looking there. Doesn't look real. I'm just looking for the 6-fingered hand, or like a limb coming out of his back, to confirm that it is an AI creation. Looks fucking strange. But he does look like Alistair Johnson, who, to be fair, cool guy though he is a bit fucking strange looking. He's a bit Kermit the Frog looking at times. Brilliant guy though. Noah Reid, don't know enough about Noah, I'm not going to lie. Can't speak about him. Jamie Dornan's been getting flung about as potential Batman for time immemorial. Immemorium. I don't know what the word is. Says it now. Again, he's tall, he's youngish. He can wear a suit. Has he got that ability to convey that schizophrenic almost personality of Bruce Wayne? I don't know, man. Not for me, I'm sorry. I don't know who he is. I'm going to move on. I'd love John David Washington to be able to play a character like this. I really would. Is James Gunn going to be ballsy enough to actually cast a black Batman? Is there... I mean, it's not written in the comics that he has to be fucking white. I don't think it's part of the character's sort of raison d'etre that he has to be a white man. I think we can have a black Batman. I don't know if there's any precedent for having a black Batman in the comics. I know we've had a black Superman, and I'm still waiting in news for that, incidentally. I want to see Michael B. Jordan playing that character. But again, you speak about charisma, you speak about presence on the camera, about acting brilliance. You don't get any better than the son of Denzel. And I fucking love this guy. I think he's cracking geezer. So I would love to see him potentially up for the role, provided they can maybe give him stilts to make him a bit taller, because he's a bit short. John's a missed opportunity. John Hamm. If you had him 10 years ago, I would have been all for it, and in fact I was for it before the Matt Reeves movies obviously were confirmed to be starring Robert Pattinson, and that wasn't 10 years ago, I understand. But this guy's been getting floated about for years. He's a huge fan, I think, of the Batman. Got that darkness in an abundance. He's certainly got the height, he's got the ability, the charisma, the suaveness. I think he'd have been a fine choice, but sadly I think it's too old. It's too late for him, I should say now. Nicholas Holt's a funny one. I'm going to completely ignore Jensen Ackles. I just don't think he looks like Batman at all. He's not for me, I'm sorry. He's just not got the chin or the jaw for it. Not for me. Holt's an interesting one. I think he could play. I think he could definitely play Batman. Again, he's a tall individual. He's developed into a wondrous actor in the last decade or so. You could argue he's always been good. He was in About the Boy, of course, and he was very good in that. He's got the potential as an actor to be able to portray the sort of darkness within the character. I think he's a dark horse for me, Nicholas Hoult. I'm going to have a slightly mental shortlist. If it was me and I was in charge, I'd have Holt, I'd have Washington, I'd probably have Dornan, and I would fling in Henry Golding. That would be my shortlist. And then I'd make a choice from there. But I digress. I went off on a tangent here. It says it was going to be a short little dive down the rabbit hole. This is why I love a new era of characters, a new era of storytelling with a franchise like this, a cinematic universe like this, because you have so much scope to bring in fresh new blood, to produce brilliant new stories, brilliant new movies, and have them give them all, have that motivation, that energy to want to go out and prove themselves. Now, I'm not saying the likes of John David Washington, Henry Golding, fucking Nicholas Hoult possess that, Alexandra Daddario possess that. These are people in their 30s, they're well on in their careers already. But it gives you a chance when you step away from the same mind, continually bringing the same actors back again and again when there's no real future for them. When you wipe that slate clean and you bring in an all-new cast with all new potential, that's where the brilliance lies. That's why I'm happy that there's no more Snyder stars coming back, that James Gunn is starting anew, and we've potentially got some exciting times ahead of us as DC fans. But look, that fucking sounds strange to say that, but I was going to say I've got the shield behind me, but I forget. I've got a fucking Batman poster behind me as well, so that just proves, look, see this tribalism? MCU is better than the DCEU. DC's better than the Marvel. It's all fucking box. Enjoy both. They're both different. They're both great. Enough with the tribalism.